Okay, so I believe we're live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's just chat a little bit in case there are people that are showing up right at 1, because there are people that are at work. I'll recap what we're going to talk about today and like tell you a little bit about the details. How's the sound, Allison and Max? It's working okay? Oh, Max. He schedules his naps now. Okay, Grandpa. Perfect. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I want a nap too. I took a walk yesterday and I'm still learning my way around Boulder City. So went out my house and went left, went across the park, upstairs, across the parking lot. Next thing I knew, I'm standing there on the highway looking at, not on the highway, but at the highway, looking at the lake with Carl. And so we decided to go around this loop and we went around that loop. And then we found this other little trail that took us to a bike trail that took us under some bridges and through a wastewater ways or whatever. And then that took us to back to the highway that goes behind my house. And we ended up out there on, what started out as a 15-minute walk ended up being an hour and a half. And I wanted a nap when I got home. But of course, don't you know, that's when my husband decides to come home early. So today, I just let things inspire me as I sit on the porch having my coffee in the morning. And this morning I was inspired thinking about a few pieces that I wanted to discuss and just to talk about today. We're not going to talk about them yet, but I want to plant these seeds because they're all very beautiful, right? Things that occur to us, things that we notice are beautiful and unexpectedly and during these times, right? One of them that I want you to ponder just as we start, we're going to begin to move in some self-regulation pieces in just a couple more minutes, letting some people that may be trying to join us at 1 get on. One thing is, consider this. What were you worried about in February? Do you remember the first week of February or just before Valentine's Day? What was your biggest concern in that moment? Now, it may have been something detrimental, but more times than not, people are answering that question with, I don't remember. Or for me, I was pissed because I had ordered a French door for my house and they kept sending me the wrong one. And I was like up in arms about it, which is ridiculous now, right? So I just want everyone to try to just recall that, what they were worried about, and then think about what your number one concern is today. And then just compare the two. And try to remember this. When things swing back the other direction and we get in the humdrum, go back and forth and roller coaster, or as Darwin calls it, the hamster wheel of life, try to remember what you just considered, right? And so perhaps you can write that down. In February, I was worried about this door, and now I'm worried about my dad who has COPD and is completely isolated and can't see his kids, is going blind with macular degeneration, and doesn't really engage in. He doesn't even like talking on the phone, let alone. And I worry about our community and our the current situation and how people are doing if they are in isolation and I all those things. So here we are. What is that? So I want to remember that when what's really important needs to be considered. Okay. And then I want to talk about today, we'll talk about neuroplasticity, which is the way our brain can change. Changing your mind is real. And neuroplasticity is kind of like what you've heard a million times before. It takes about 28 days to form a new habit. Happy to see you, Jay. It takes about 28 days to form a new habit. That habit can be good or bad, right? Well, we are being asked to stay away from each other for at least 28 days, right? So what new habits could we form? And as we begin to watch the news and things like that, what new habits can we form? And so we're going to get into that a little bit. and how to counter and how to look at good habits, right? Because we know that those are things that could happen. That we just have to be mindful. Talking about our daily routines, that will also help us to form habits. Focusing on what we can do, and and not so much focusing on what we cannot do right now, and being and how we can be more responsible for the energy we bring into other people's spaces. So these are all very important things. And I'm really excited to get to them. So first, okay, we will be on this call up till 2:00, but probably end before that. So at the very latest, I'll be on this call up till 2:00. So I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to relieve any emotions that are stuck in the body. And I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to become present before we do start talking about things that we can consider during this time. So let's regulate. First thing you'll do is just find a comfy seat. This is, if you're on this line and you've never experienced trauma recovery yoga before, this is a piece of trauma recovery yoga. Every trauma recovery yoga class holds self-regulation. It is the very basis and platform for all that we do. And so every class begins with some self-regulation. And self-regulation is breath, grounding, orienting, and and centering. And we'll take you through the string of those things and what it is. It's a science-based way, science and psychology-based way to help calm the central nervous system and get us from chaos to calm, or from past and future to present, or from fight or flight to feeling more at ease, okay? So it'll only take a few minutes. We're just going to do about probably about 10 minutes of this in your chair, or you could be sitting on the floor. You could even be standing if you need to be standing. That's fine. You'll hear the cues. Okay, so just follow along. Do as much or as little as your body and emotions choose to. As we begin now, find your feet planted firmly against the earth, your hands resting peacefully on your legs or knees. And allow your chin to drop towards your chest as you gaze down towards your feet. The first regulation technique is called grounding. Grounding is just what it sounds like. Finding the ground beneath us, beginning to notice everywhere our body is making contact with the earth. Feeling the weight and heat of our feet pressing down and our seat resting on our chair. Imagining the points of contact, the radiation of heat in every point that is making connection with the earth, sinking in, growing roots from our seat and feet into the chair or the ground. When we take the time to notice our connection with the earth, we send a clear signal to mind and body. All is well. I am safe. I am connected. I am solid. I am purposeful. I am rooted. I am stable. All is well. From here, we move into the center of our body, beginning to notice the center of our body, the core, as many people call it, the very center, just underneath our navel. We do this by engaging our pelvic floor and pressing our belly button towards our spine as though we were trying to get our navel to kiss our backbone, right? And as we do that, we may feel a lifting and a pushing in the gut area, right? So many times after trauma or through crisis, we feel as though we're pulled off our center, outside of ourselves, maybe even observing ourselves and without any control or say over what we do or think. And in this moment, we begin to notice that center and draw ourselves back into our bodies, into the core, by pushing the navel towards the spine and just beginning to notice if we feel anything in the center, maybe some heat, connection, engagement. And when we do, we turn on this vacuum, this incinerator in the gut. It begins to heat up, and we stoke the fire of the belly. And when we do, ignite that center and that incinerator, The chatter between our ears begins to be drawn down into our gut where it can be churned up and burned up and swept away by our own breath. Notice now your hands resting peacefully on the legs or thighs, the fingers slightly separated, resting without any work whatsoever, just like rags draping the legs. When we rest with our palms down, perhaps noticing a little heat between the hands and legs, we send a clear signal to the mind and body. All is well. No reason to point a finger or make a fist. I am safe. I am present. I am peaceful. Now, as we gaze down, keeping the eyelids soft and smooth, just gently peering out through slits of the eyes. As we gaze down to our feet or legs or the floor, we begin to notice our situation in the space, where we are. This is called orientation. So we begin to notice where we are oriented in our space. And we do this by just noticing, right? Noticing is just another word for mindfulness. Mindfulness, that catchy word, everybody's trying to get some. It means nothing more than to slow down and notice. So notice, if you will, as you peer down, for textures or colors of the rug, your feet or shoes, your clothes or skin. Notice the colors, the textures, the way the light bounces off of them. Notice where we are in our space. And when we do, we send a clear signal to the mind and body. No reason to look about. I am safe. I am present. I am peaceful. As the chin continues to drop towards the chest, not pushing, just allowing the chin to drop, and we gaze down. The breath smoothly enters and exits through the nose, the lips barely touching. We begin to notice that breath as it enters in through the nose, sweeps behind the eyes, swirling around into the scalp, all the way into the back of the neck, as it sweeps back up across the scalp, behind the eyes, and out the nose, following that breath mindfully in and out through the nose. When we breathe in and out through the nose like this, we send a clear signal to the mind and body. All is well. No reason to pant or panic. I am safe. I am present. I am peaceful. Notice how the body begins to believe, because we know the body follows the mind and the mind follows the body. So when our mind sees ourselves connected to the earth, grounded, centered in our bodies, engaged, oriented in our space, safe, following our breath, we hear that last message. No reason to pant or panic. I am safe. I am present. I am peaceful. The brow unfurrows. The jaw falls slightly slack. Tongue rests behind those front teeth. The lips unpurse. And now, on your next inhale, breathing in through the nose, all the way into the belly, gazing down at your belly, watch it inflate like a big balloon. Breathe into the chest now. Pull that breath up like you're pulling it through a straw into the chest as the ribs expand. Draw it all the way up to the tippy top of your head, to the crown. And then pour it out from the top. So from the face, chin will drop. From the chest, ribs move together. From the belly, pushing, pushing, pushing. Navel touches backbone. Let's do that again. Pour it in from the bottom up. Inhale, big belly. into the chest, shine up the heart, filling up the chest, and into the face and eyes, swirling the breath behind the eyes. As you exhale, pouring out from the face, chin drops. From the chest, ribs move together. From the belly, pushing, 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 navel to spine. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, big belly. Inhale, expand the heart as it shines up towards the face. Bring the breath into the face and eyes. Feel the smile behind the eyes as you exhale. From the face, chin drops. From the chest, shoulders drop. From the belly, pushing, 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 navel to spine, and release. Keeping the gaze down. Taking a moment now to tune in. Right, so many times when we're often distracted by what's going on in the world or around us, we forget about who we are, where we are, and what our body is saying. So let's tune in for a moment without doing too much work, just beginning to notice without trying to change. What we'll do is a body scan. Imagine you have a beam of light, like a lightsaber, or the beam on a document scanner, hovering and humming above your head. And this beam now will begin to scan the body. And everywhere this light travels, you begin to notice where you're holding, not trying to change it. So the light warms up the scalp. Just notice, am I holding here? In the face or jaw, it's warm. The light is shining through it. Am I holding here? How about in the throat or vocal cords? Through the back of the neck or shoulders? Am I holding in my arms? Am I holding in my chest, in my heart? Am I holding in my gut or pelvis? Am I holding in my glutes or thighs? Am I holding in my knees or shins or calves or feet? So just take a moment to acknowledge where you're holding, and we'll work on those pieces in a minute, right? Because we automatically start to change what we acknowledge, right? So just for a moment, consider where you're holding without trying to do anything about it. And now, take another big breath in through the nose, inflate the belly, the chest. And as you bring the breath into the face, begin to lift the chin and flutter your eyes open. So we're going to come back into the room now. We'll have a little discussion, and before we're done, we'll practice a little bit more moving. And once you've taken notes about how your body is feeling, you may notice other ways of releasing that as we talk more. So I have the topics that I want to discuss, but I also am open to, if you have a topic that leans into, or if you have a comment about what leans into what we're about to discuss, I want you to just shoot me a little chat comment so that I can include your ideas or thoughts, right? I really want to stay on topic. So you may have a story that connects with it. And I'm interested. Okay, I'm very interested, and I'm really excited to be doing this here. And I'm also doing it on Facebook Live right now. So I want to, and I'm going to soon. I will be joining simulcasting on Zoom, so that there'll be more interaction. Okay, so let's get to it. Did everybody have a chance to take a moment and reflect on what they were worried about in February? What was their concern? What was heavy in their heart? What was their biggest challenge? And in that moment, I just want you to consider what that was, right? I told you what mine was if you were on the line. Just consider what that was. And then once you have it, or you don't have it because you don't even remember, right? And lucky you had no major challenges in February. And now think about what challenges you emotionally right now, right? What is the biggest challenge facing you right now? As time has drastically changed since February in our world to now. And I just want to encourage everyone because I feel like that's a message that people need to consider. And maybe it's a question that you pose to other people. So, my intention when we have these conversations is to give people ideas and new topics to discuss that are relevant to the time without delving into the obvious. We already know, and we are being bombarded with information about what is wrong, what is getting worse, what our challenges will be long term. We are already getting bombarded with that, but there is always a yin to the yang. And that's not to say that we don't understand, that we don't believe, that we don't consider, that we don't care, but that we also have this other side of it that also deserves to be paid attention to be strengthened, to be shared, to be considered, right? So that's one way of doing it, right? I think it's really important to have people recognize what a wake up call this was for so many people and will continue to be for so many more, in the way of what was important seems trivial, and what is important we don't want to forget, because what is important now, the people that we care about, the groups that we care about, the underprivileged, the people isolating, the people ill, that is always important, even when there's not a pandemic, right? Okay, so that's that whole subject, and I don't see anyone in engaging on that topic. Hi, Kim. I don't see anyone engaging on the topic, so I'll just continue the conversation. So they everything connects. So the next thing I want to talk about on that same idea, and it connects, is called neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is our brain's ability or our mind's ability to change, right? And like I said in the beginning, if you were here early, I talked about how we all know it takes about 28 days, or you've heard it many times, it takes about 28 days to form, to make or break a habit, right? And now we're being asked to live in a certain way for at least 28 days or longer, and isolate ourselves from other people, right? And what happens? Well, our mind has more time to think and focus on different things that maybe it didn't, because we're not interrupted by as much social activity or engagement, right? Maybe we're working from home. We don't have to travel. We don't have as much going on, right? So what will the mind, I always say my mind is like a bad neighborhood. And I don't want to be alone there, because I'll head towards the dark alley, right? And that's what has happened to me. So I'm also interested in what has happened to you. I started to have nightmares, sleep disturbances, and emotional outburst, even to the point of anger. Not so much that it interrupted my life or that I hurt anyone, but that it was noticeable to me and to the people closest to me, right? So you may be experiencing these things, or something, on the spectrum, from anxiety to anger to depression to insomnia to mania, right? And all of this spectrum can be normal or natural in these situations, right? Everyone just give yourself a break if you're experiencing any of those things, right? We're eating more, we're sleeping less, and we're having trauma responses or crisis responses right now. Totally normal, right? Or totally natural. So again, I'll give you a fable. I told this fable the other day when I was live streaming, or I was in a Zoom class that we were facilitating. And it's about two wolves, and I'll butcher the fable, but I love stories because I think they're a really great way to teach, right? The way I recall being told this a long, long time ago was there was an old man and a young boy. And the young boy was struggling with his ego and being very competitive or downtrodden about his failures and things like that. And the old man said to the young boy, that every person has two wolves that live inside of them, right? One wolf is full of gratitude and graciousness and love and compassion and empathy and joy and love. And the other wolf is full of anger and resentment and jealousy and shame and guilt and pain and fear. And they're constantly in battle. They're just like fighting, trying to rip the other one's throat out all the time, right? They're trying to win for control over this, your human self. Okay. And this is the battle of a lifetime. Which wolf will win? The little boy said to the old man. And the old man said, the one you feed, right? So, which wolf are you feeding right now? In this idle time, when you could focus on what, the new perspectives and perhaps the introspection that was never possible before, and people now having to go more within. People sick of having to connect virtually and craving human connection instead of the other way around, right? People trying to escape from human connection before. What are the awakenings that you've noticed in yourself, your family, your children, your community? What are the things that have inspired you that you want to share or help other people create? My daughter, I'll give you an example. Angeli's a senior in high school. And so this is her senior year. She had a part in the senior play. She was set to graduate. There was prom coming up. She had a date, all of these things, right? She was really excited. None of those things are happening now, right? And we were applying to colleges and we were going to go see colleges. All of those things gone right now. It's not happening, right? And so she could have, and she was headed towards a dark alley. And I said, Angeli, you're an extraordinary girl. These are extraordinary times. Do some extraordinary shit. And I left her there to sit with that. And, you may consider this extraordinary or not, but she's my kid, so I thought it was pretty amazing. She baked a cake and she made it really cute with pink frosting and confetti icing. And then she posted it on social media, and she said the first 3 people who, swipe up or screenshot or whatever the hell, here in Boulder City, gets curbside delivery. And then those 3 people, she made these beautiful little paper plates with cellophane and everything and dropped off cake on these people's curb. She was lit up. She was so excited by their reaction from across their yard when she pulled up with this cake. And so that's just it's not doing something extraordinary. It doesn't need to be Oprah. It could be cake on the curb, And so that's the thing that I hope that we can get our communities and each other to focus on. Again, we are not saying, I don't want anyone to turn a blind eye. I don't want you to ignore that there is pain happening in the world right now. And I know that that we have empathy and there's going to be empathy and compassion, and that will cause us to weep for the pain for that others are experiencing and that we're experiencing in our own homes, watching our communities. So I'm not saying turn a blind eye or ignore that. I'm not saying shove that pain down when it comes to those thoughts, because they have to come too, because they are also true for you. But they are, all that fear generally is fear. If there's not a bear in your kitchen, if you are not currently in a situation that is dangerous or detrimental, then the feeling of fear is because you are living in the future. You're not living in the present, right? So how do you live in the present and focus on the good and work with your own neuroplasticity in this time where we could be forming really detrimental and negative habits in the mind to form other habits? So we know, and you may have heard this before, we don't break a habit, we form a new one. And so we have to be very careful in this time where we have so much time to sit and think, and we're being bombarded with information that is, not of the best news, right? Not great. So we could start, and you've probably seen this in people, or maybe yourself, where you're like, I watch the news, I know this stat, I know what's happening in this city, and these people are that, and did you hear the latest on this or this or this, right? And there's no fucking toilet paper. Sorry, I knew I'd drop an F-bomb sooner or later. Did you hear? Did you hear? Or did you see? Did you know? Your friend, my friend, who was putting notes on St. Patrick's Day on people's porch as their kids were dressed in leprechaun costumes, to that they were there, that you're not alone, and that if you needed anything, to let them know, those kind of things. So can you shine a light in that direction? Because neuroplasticity, my best analogy for neuroplasticity is this. When you, it's like a rut in a road, right? So if you've ever been down a dirt road very many times in a car or whatever, or like if you're a hiker like me, you'll see the path. Well, that path is formed because hiker after hiker after hiker went up and down, up and down, up and down, right? Well, that trail is going to stay there unless we go over here and make a new trail, and then grass grows on this one, right? So that's the way I would have you understand it. When you form a rut in a dirt road from going back and forth and thinking, oh, this is awful, this is awful, this is awful, the only way to get out of that rut is to form a new rut, to say, this is wonderful, this is wonderful, this is wonderful. And these ruts will then get filled in. If you spend the next 30 or so days and focus on all of the fear that is being thrown at you, when this is over, because this storm will pass, no storm lasts forever. When this is over and we begin the recovery process, you will have further to go because you will have formed a rut, right? So if you can spend some time forming a new rut, creating a new habit in the way of mantra, meditation, visually going outside. Another great exercise is to go outside and find out how many beautiful, look for the beauty. I don't care if you're walking in the worst of neighborhoods, down the ugliest of roads, on your way to the convenience store to pick up cigarettes. You will see a flower or a beautiful color or someone with gorgeous hair or a cute dog driving by in the vehicle. Challenge yourself to find those things. If you're in the drive-through at the Starbucks or wherever, look for the latest landscaping, right? Listen for the sound of a bird. Challenge yourself in a moment to find 10 things, right? Challenge yourself in any moment to find 5 things in your mind that you're grateful for in your life, right? And when you're really taken to tomorrow or back to yesterday, because you have, hi Danielle, because you have no, because you've been dragged out. I mean, we're all going to have those moments, right? We're going to have those moments where going through the day. Oh, look at my puppy, so cute. And I'm eating a delicious, I don't know, Eggo waffle. I don't know why I said that, but okay. I don't even eat them, but okay. And you're just and then they do a news interruption over your days of our lives, and it says, here's the latest shit storm. Here's the latest shit storm, and suddenly you're like, oh. And everything, you're just taken right into fight or flight. It's going to happen. It happens to everyone. So how do we recover from that? Well, it's okay to feel fear. Of course, it's natural in these circumstances and in your life. It's a natural feeling. And so, like my wise friend Max passed me a quote, and I know I'm going to say it wrong, but he gave me a quote recently, or an idea, concept. Allow the front door and the back door of your mind to be open, and see the thoughts as they enter and pass through and leave. Just don't invite them to stay for tea, right? That is to say, don't become attached to them. So in those moments when the fear comes, acknowledge it, give it a wave and let it go. It exists. We cannot deny that it exists and that it will come and go, but allow it to pass through, right? Instead of holding on to it and shining a light on it and helping it grow. Shift focus, shine your light in another direction, right? Back to your puppy or go outside and let the sun. Give yourself a moment and come back. Another great way, always, 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 in resources and a way to become more present and get into that neuroplasticity flow. When you are taken out to tomorrow or yesterday, practice one of the resources of the self-regulation. And if you want more information on self-regulation or even a PDF or maybe even a short video, go to our YouTube channel. There's a short video just on self-regulation, just on seated, or you can message us and we can send you a PDF with those grounding, centering, breath, and orientation pieces in a PDF way so you can see them, so that you can use those. Okay, I hope that you're picking up what I'm laying down about neuroplasticity. Be mindful of the habits that you're creating right now. Focus on the good. Allow the other thoughts to pass through and acknowledge them because they are true and they do exist. But focus on the other side. There's a yin and a yang, always, so you guys get it, right? And when you're doing this, keep in mind that habits form cravings, right? Habits cause craving. It doesn't matter if you're like me and it's Oreos every night, or if it's, if it's alcohol or sex or the news, or if it's, cigarettes or a way of thinking. That's true, right? You ever heard, well, you're just looking for something to worry about? Well, that's a thing, right? People maybe feel uncomfortable when there's nothing to worry about. So habit forms craving. Habit creates craving. Good or bad, habit creates craving. So create good habits and you'll create good cravings. You ever notice when you go on like a cleanse or just a new eating plan, and you at first you're like, oh my, I don't really want to eat this, whatever it is, keto or veggies or juice or whatever. And then after you do it for a certain amount of time, you'll catch yourself being like, I'm craving beets right now. So that's weird. I never did that before. That is habit forming craving, right? That is what, and that we don't break habits. We only create new ones. That's why you see a lot of people that maybe are in AA and NA, that those meetings are really important because that's a camaraderie that they were getting at a bar, right? That is one of the benefits of those meetings. And or sometimes people will shift over and to the gym from the bar. And you'll see a lot of people having a new, healthier way of gathering. So those are just examples. I think those are good ways to teach, right? So if you're working to form better habits, and so therefore cravings, and so therefore the cravings form the habit, right? And then that forms what's going on in the brain. And if you can integrate some movement and breath and regulation into your habit or your daily routine, some self-care, that becomes part of those neural pathways that you're forming. So my passion today is to give people tools to be mindful right now and form healthy habits using those keeping in mind that neuroplasticity piece, right? Focusing on what you can do instead of what you cannot do. I saw a quote the other day, and I think I posted it on my Instagram. That said, do not let what you cannot do blind you from what you can do. Because there's plenty we can do. Whether it's curbside cake, whether it's virtual lunch, whether it's I live in a neighborhood. We don't have a lot of fences here in Boulder City, so I can stand out in my backyard and have a beer with my neighbor on the other side of the fence, 10 feet apart. So we do those kind of things, right? What can we do? And let's be creative, like JoJo. What can we do? I'd love to hear suggestions and ideas about what you can do or what you've noticed other people doing, or What have you thought of? What have you seen? Let's share those things. Let's make that the point of conversation, right? And my last point today, and then we're gonna do a short chair sequence before I let you guys go. But I want to give you a little opportunity to move. So we talked about, noticing what. Thanks, Erica. Noticing what, reminding yourself of what you were worried about or challenged with in February and how it compares to what is really important to you now. And reminding people of that perspective shift, and hoping for them and reminding them to keep that memory and reflect upon it when we weather this storm and on the other side of it. Monica. So, and then neuroplasticity. When we talk about that, I want to make another point, not so much about neuroplasticity, but another exercise, and we'll practice this when we do the movement today. I'm going to take you through a little bit of love and kindness as well, because I think it's really pertinent always in life. But right now, when we know others are suffering, and maybe we are suffering, or our family members are suffering, our coworker is suffering, sending love and kindness instead of worry and fret. Because there's an old saying, worrying about something is like praying for it to happen. So when we practice love and kindness instead of worry and fear, we're shifting energy. And there's science behind the heart math. You can look up heart math with that. There's science behind the idea that we can change things. It's a physics idea. So love and kindness, practicing, may they be well, happy, and peaceful. If you're interested in having that meditation that I have in a PDF format, I can also send that to you, or we can post it on our social media. But not only individually, but collectively. So when we collectively worry and fear, we shift the energy around us to worry and fear. And when we collectively practice love and kindness, we shift the area around us, right? So we must be mindful of the energy and responsible for the energy we lay it on people when we come into their place. Think about that. I was having a great day. I got on the phone with somebody who decided to share stats with me. I did not want to hear those stats. I cannot change those stats. And those stats hurt my chest and made me worry. And immediately I recognized I was worried and said, I care, changed worry to care, and then started to practice love and kindness meditation towards those stat numbers, right? So we will do a round of love and kindness when we're going to do our seated practice here in a minute. So practicing love and kindness is another way to work with neuroplasticity and to form healthier and happier habits for our mind, so that when we come out on the other side of this, we are not stuck in that sadness, right? Or that fear. So being responsible for the energy we bring into other space is really important. And not everyone wants to talk about this. And it would be lovely, or some people want to talk about it a little too much, right? And so it would be lovely if we could be just a few people that are listening to this live or that are going to receive this message, even if we could be a small group of people that as we trickle into the world, we have conversations, we ask them the questions, what were you worried about before? What can you focus on that's good? What have you heard that people were doing that were out of the box that lifted other people's spirits? How can you help? What can we do? All right. There's always something that can be done. And if we can shift people's, then you know what's going to happen? You're going to talk to them or talk to them on video, and they're going to talk to someone else. And those people are going to talk to someone else. And it's like, thanks, Jen. It's like dropping a pebble in a pond, and it just ripples out. And then there's all these pebbles being dropped everywhere, right? So everyone is touched by that light. So all of that is enough chatter from Mama Joyce. I'm so glad that you guys were all here. And we have between Facebook Live and here, we have quite a few people watching. So I'm really happy. Let's do a short chair sequence and including love and kindness. So we're going to do a little bit of that self-regulation to start. Then we'll do some gentle moving and stretching in the chair. And we'll close with a love and kindness call repeat, which means you'll hear me say, it's time for call repeat. I will say, may I be well, happy, and peaceful. You'll call back, may I be well. So you're echoing everything I say. Then I'll say, may my neighbors be well, happy, and peaceful. You'll echo that, and so on, right? And you'll follow along. It'll be easy. If you're not comfortable saying it out loud, say it silently to yourself, right? Or you're in a space, imagine that it's coming from your heart. Okay, just regulate with me. Get those feet flat on the floor. Let your hands rest on your legs. Let your gaze fall, gazing down at the feet. Digging those sit bones into the floor or your chair. Begin to notice everywhere your body's making contact with the earth or your seat. Let your lips barely touch as you begin to notice your breath. The feet sinking into the earth, maybe wiggling your toes, squishing your feet around a little bit like you were pushing them into the sand of the beach or the grass at the park. Feeling your feet strong against the earth, your seat pressing down against your chair. Hearing the words, I am grounded, I am safe, I am present, I am peaceful. Those hands resting, the fingers slightly separated, no work in the hands, just like rag dolls resting. Hearing the words, no reason to point a finger or make a fist. All is well. I am safe. I am present. I am peaceful. Engaging the pelvic floor, lifting those muscles you would as though you were trying to stop the flow of urine and push the belly button towards the spine. Noticing a little heat under the navel perhaps, igniting the flame, stoking the fire. Imagine bits of paper floating around in your mind now, all the mind chatter being vacuumed down into the gut and incinerated, turned into ash, churned up, burned up, swept away by breath. The chin drops towards the chest, the shoulders melt away from the ears, beginning to feel a slight smile behind the eyes, nose, and mouth. As we breathe in and out through the nose, gazing down at the floor, noticing ourselves safe in our space, seeing the floor, our skin, our clothes, our hands, noticing the way the light bounces off. No reason to look about. I am safe. I am present. I am peaceful. The body believes you as the brow unfurrows, the jaw falls slack, the lips unpurse, barely touching, and we breathe in and out through the nose. Breath is presence. Breath doesn't happen tomorrow or yesterday. Simply stopping to notice and asking ourselves the question, am I inhaling or exhaling right now, will bring us here now. Ask yourself that question and follow your breath now. Every time you take an inhale, hear the words, I am inhaling. And as you exhale, hear the words, I am exhaling. Noticing our connection to earth, center, breath, and space. Moving into that 3-part breath now, pouring our breath into our body as though we were pouring from a pitcher into a vase, that vase being our body, so it will fill up from the bottom up. Inhale with me now through the nose, inflate the belly like a big balloon. Bring it into the chest as the ribs separate and the heart begins to tilt up towards the face. Breathing into the face and eyes, swirling that breath behind the eyes as the eyes light up. And we pour it out from the top now, from the face, chin drops. From the chest, shoulders drop. From the belly, pushing, 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 navel to spine. And again, from the bottom up, inhale, big belly. Full heart and chest. Sparkling eyes and nose. Exhaling from the face, from the eyes cooling, from the heart tingling, from the belly pushing, pushing, pushing. One more time. Inhale, big belly. Inhale, full heart, sparkling and shining up into the face and eyes, breathing into the face and eyes, cooling from the eyes, pouring it out. Chin drops from the chest, heart tickles. From the belly, pushing, 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 navel to spine, and release. Keeping the gaze down and soft. You can have your eyes closing or gazing down towards your mouth and nose. And now, keeping in mind choice, moving as much or as little as you, your body, and emotions agree to, no more, no less. Choice is yours. Embrace the power of choice. Many times in life, we find ourselves in circumstance where choice was taken. This is your choice now. Sit and breathe or move. As you inhale, drop right ear to right shoulder, and then tilt the head back. Staying here with me for a moment as the heart shines up, shoulders drop back and down. Not pushing the head back, just allowing it to fall. And then as you exhale, left ear to left shoulder and chin to chest. Keep breathing, keep moving. Inhale to the right and back. Exhale to the left and chin to chest. Notice how your spine starts getting into the groove. It might start swaying back and forth, front and back, right? I am solid like an oak. I am flexible like a bamboo, right? We begin to sway back and forth like bamboo in a breeze. Hearing that popping and cracking, welcoming the release of old information. Not bringing the shoulder up to the ear, but the ear to the shoulder. And on your next exhale, drop chin to chest and pause. And now in the other direction, inhale, left ear, left shoulder, and head back. Exhale, right ear, right shoulder, and chin to chest. Keep moving, keep breathing. Now visualization, pull. Imagine you have a light from the shine of your head, shining from the top of your head, brighter than the Luxor. So powerful, you can hear it humming. Imagine the power and color of that light. Can you see the color? It's maybe a mix of colors. That's your color. Feel yourself tethered and strong against the earth, feet against the earth, pushing navel to spine, shining light from skull, sending out signals around the world. All is well. We will be okay. I'm sending you love and kindness. And as you exhale, drop chin to chest and pause, taking a moment to let any dizziness pass. That's quite natural. As you inhale, lift the gaze, turning the head to the right. Raise that right hand. Separate the fingers as wide as you possibly can, so perhaps you even feel a stretch across the palm of your right hand. As you exhale, take the left hand and point it down towards the earth. You may have to make some room between you and the back of your chair so you can point your fingers towards the earth. As you inhale, look up and reach up with that right hand, gazing up at that right middle finger. Draw the right shoulder back and down so that it's as though you had a flashlight shining from your heart and you were trying to shine it on the palm of your hand. And as you gaze up at that right middle finger, raise the eyebrows, open the eyes as wide as you possibly can, letting in more light. More light raises endorphins and serotonin, right? Happy hormones. We can all use them. Inhale, look up and reach up. Exhale, look down at the left hand as it begins to reach for the floor, and the right hand begins to reach up and over towards the sidewall. Gazing down at that left hand, with every exhale, we reach a little further down, but keep those sit bones on your chair by engaging the pelvic floor and feel yourself cinch down like a magnet to steel. As you inhale, you reach up and over to the sidewall. As you exhale, reaching down towards the earth. Inhale, over, feeling expansion between the ribs. Exhale, squishing out the liver and kidneys, getting rid of all the whiskey and Oreos from yesterday. Or was that just me? Inhale, both hands, reach up, shine up, we're pulled up. Engage the pelvic floor, press the navel towards the spine. And as you exhale, right hand floats towards the earth. Inhale, look up at the left. Reach up higher. Draw the left shoulder back and down, shining again that flashlight from the heart to the palm of the left hand. Looking up at that left middle finger. Raise the eyebrows, open the eyes as wide as you can. I am light. I am lifted. I am hopeful. I am alive. I am useful. I am faithful. As you exhale, gaze down at the right hand. It begins to reach for the floor. Left hand reaches up and over. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, out, down, down, down. Engage your pelvic floor. Keep those feet flat against the earth. I am stable and I am flexible. Inhale, both hands reach up, shine up. We're pulled up. Exhale as you place the palms together, folding down all your fingers except those index fingers like two hands at 12. Engage your pelvic floor. Press the navel towards the spine. Inhale, reach up to 12 o'clock. Gazing up at that little cup you've made with your hands. Exhale from your mouth and allow the light and fog from your breath to be trapped in the palms of your hands. We know that visualization is key to healing. It is not, imagination creates new possibilities. This is real science. As you inhale, reach up. As you exhale, tick new numbers to the right on your clock. As you inhale, right hand pulls left hand over to the side. Really feeling that maybe in the axillary joint of the armpit. As you exhale, draw down to the next number. Keeping both sit bones firm against your chair. Feet against the earth. Inhale, reach over. Exhale, down to the next number. Inhale, pull, reach, side. Exhale, draw down. Inhale, both hands reach up, shine up. We're pulled up. Exhale, tick two numbers to the left. Inhale, left hand pulls right hand over. Exhale, left hand pulls right hand down to the next number. Inhale, reach, reach, reach. Exhale, draw, draw, draw. Inhale, both hands reach up, shine up. We're pulled up. Exhale, flip the palms out. Let eyes and fingers float down. Taking a moment to notice any change in the shoulders. Perhaps you feel something there. Maybe a little heat, maybe a little release. Yoga is about letting go. Letting go can look like a lot of things. It can feel like heat or tingling or sweat. It can be breath or sound. And if you're really lucky, it'll be tears. That's the ultimate form of letting go. Taking a moment here to imagine all the stories that get piled up on those shoulders. The weight of the world, right? The stories we tell ourselves and others tell us. Imagine them piled on those shoulders like old, dirty notebooks and journals. Old wrinkly paper. And now inhale through the nose, breath of fire into the shoulders, setting those papers on fire. See them turning into ash, crackling and popping. And as you exhale, sweep them away, sweeping, sweeping, sweeping all the debris. Inhale again through the nose, heat into those shoulders, into those journals. See them crackling, popping, ash. Exhale, sweep them away, sweeping, clearing the way for nothing but good news. As you inhale now, separate your arms, tilt your head back, shining your heart up. Engage your pelvic floor, tuck your tailbone under, push your navel towards your spine as we gaze up. As you gaze up with your arms separated like this, your shoulder blades trying to touch as though you were holding a piece of paper between them behind you, I want you to ponder what this posture means to you. This is what surrender looks like. Surrender is not to cower in a ball. Surrender is to show up and say, okay, I am ready. Here I am. Let's do this shit. As you exhale, right arm straight floats over across your chest. As you exhale, left arm floats under. Bending your elbows now and either bringing your forearms together or reaching around and giving yourself a sweet little hug. Either way, you're working on the shoulders here. So always staying away from pain. Remember, yoga's like love. It's not meant to hurt. It can challenge you, and it will, but it doesn't cause pain. So if it's yoga or love, stay away from pain. As you gaze down to where you've made the cross of your elbows. I want you to exhale and push the elbows down. Notice if you feel any heat across the back of the shoulders. Working on the shoulders here because we're carrying a lot of stories lately. Gazing down, push again. Elbows reach towards belly button. Inhale, separate the wings, shine the heart up. Hear yourself, I am ready. Taking a moment to ponder your I am right now. As you gaze up and look up, imagine your I ams in the center of your chest. Those words are the most powerful words we can speak. And what we follow them with will follow us. What are you following yourself with today, right? What is your I am? I am powerful. I am amazing. Don't try to bullshit yourself. Just try to remind yourself of something you may have forgotten about how amazing you really are. I am. As you exhale now, bring your face back to center. Left arm floats over, right arm under, bending those elbows, bringing the forearms together or giving ourselves that sweet hug. As we exhale, dropping, gazing down, pushing with the elbow, top elbow pushing down. Maybe feeling a stretch across one or both shoulders. Inhale, gaze up, release, shine up. I am ready. I am showing up. I am here for myself and my community. Inhale, look up, reach up, place those palms together. Exhale, pull happiness to the heart center, gazing down. Coming to your center of your chair now. Only got a couple more minutes. I want to get you to do something that's going to help you release, right? So we released from the shoulders, and now we're going to release from the whole body. I want you to make a little space between you and the back of your chair. I'm going to tilt this so you can see me better. So you have a little room between you and the back of your chair. Your feet are flat on the floor. We're going to do a little boat. So you can hang on to your chair, to the arms of your chair, to the backs of your legs. But I want you to have nice straight angles right now, and then begin to lean back slightly. Maybe your shoulders begin to touch your chair, and you're just widening the angle from your thighs to your chest. Just widening, keeping the line straight. And then maybe your feet pop off the ground. Maybe your toes are still on the ground. Maybe your feet are up off the ground, right? Everybody's boat's going to be looking different. But you may start to feel a shimmer, a shake, a rattle, a hum in the body. That's what we're looking for. Find that shake. That shake is your body releasing fear. Fear is the only thing that stops us from doing anything. Fuck fear. Shaking, shining, flying down the river of life. I am letting go. I am unstoppable. This is called neurogenics. Look it up. Find it. Find the tremor in your body. And as you exhale, right ankle over left. Exhale, float those feet down to the earth. Separate the feet. Separate the knees a bit. And as you exhale, reach forward, 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 down, trying to reach for the floor. Now, it's not if you touch the floor. It's you could have your elbows on your knees, gazing down. You could be touching your floor. All of these things are correct, right? It's up to you, your body, and emotion. Just practicing a forward fold. So this is another way to calm the nervous system. Whenever you can get your head beneath your heart, you're practicing an inversion. And when we're inverted, we lower our blood pressure and our pulse. And when we do that, we calm the nervous system because the mind believes what the body says. And when our blood pressure is regulated and our heart rate is regulated and our respirations are calm, then our mind believes all is well, right? So sometimes this is all it takes to calm the nervous system. But only you know if this is an appropriate posture for you. Just taking a few breaths here. In a forward fold, let your head dangle like a yo-yo on a string. No work in the neck. Just listen. Let your head dangle. Let your spine be round. Let gravity help you move forward and down. And now find a place to hang on to your chair or knees. Engage your pelvic floor and listen. Slowly stack your vertebrae one at a time. I want you to roll up and stack up. As long as it doesn't cause you pain, roll up, stack up, slowly, 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 until your face joins you absolutely last. We're going to close our practice today with a loving kindness meditation. So just find yourself in a comfortable position, seated. Let your hands rest. You can either have them resting palms down, palms up, or in like a lotus flower in your lap to receive. Dropping your gaze to the floor, taking a moment to tune back in to your to your body. Begin to scan your body from the crown of your head to the tips of fingers and toes. But scan with that light again and just begin to ask yourself where, if you feel a letting go. Follow that light, and everywhere the light travels from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, begin to ask if you're letting go. Feel the letting go. Feel the release, the unwind, the unravel as the light moves through the scalp. Feel the heat, the unwinding through the scalp and face, through the brow, through the throat and shoulders and neck, through the arms and chest and gut. I am letting go, releasing from the hips and glutes and thighs, releasing from the knees and shins and calves and feet. Filled with this light, bathing in this glory, we wish well for the world. I'm going to call out loving kindness, and as I do, I want you to repeat, starting now. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. May love come to me. May strength come to me. May harmony come to me. May my family be well, happy, and peaceful. May love come to them. May strength come to them. May harmony come to them. May love come to them. May strength come to them. May harmony come to them. May my neighbors be well, happy, and peaceful. May love come to them. May strength come to them. May harmony come to them. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. May love come to them. May strength come to them. May harmony come to them. May the entire world be filled with love and peace. I want you to imagine the energy that you created in your space, in your body, in your community, and between each of us, radiating in your heart now, sending it out into the universe like shock waves. I want you to visualize behind your eyelids the person or place or situation you want to send this love and kindness to, and see it being sent and received. See it cleansing and healing. See it bringing love and strength and harmony. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. May all your hopes and wishes come true. May the best of everything be yours in every day. As you inhale now, lift your gaze, coming back to the room. Namaste. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you guys. If you want more information, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We could use subscriptions. I'm posting it now in my Facebook Live. We could use more subscriptions. We need 1,000 in order to reach more people. YouTube will share our information. I really hope you enjoyed it. I had a great time. I know that what we do together, we no matter how many of us there are, that one act of kindness, that one shift into love changes more than you can imagine, more than we can imagine with our human brains. So thanks, man. See you next time. Oh, yeah. Thanks for trying.